Advisory. Some episodes of the 1836 podcast are not intended for all audiences, due to details that might be considered disturbing. Listener and viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Joe Batterton.
And this is 1836.
On episode 10 of the 1836 podcast, we talk about one of the most haunted places in America, the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
Well, Joe, let's start off since it's getting close to Halloween. Do you have a Ozarkism?
I do. And in the flavor of Halloween and all things spooky, I'm going to pick the word haint. I used to hear the old folks, old family members and old neighbors use that term, and haint would be the equivalent of a ghost or a spook. I've never researched that word to see where it came from, and I think it's Ozark, Appalachian. I think it's one of those ones that came across country. But yeah, haint would be a ghost or a spook. And speaking of spooky things, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about the most haunted the most haunted hotel in America, the grand old lady of the Ozarks, the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs.
Welcome to the Crescent Hotel, perched high on a mountain in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Its majestic presence and grandeur have earned it the title of America's most haunted hotel. But before we delve into the ghostly tales, let's travel back in time to the year 1886 when this historical marvel was born. In a time when the nation was undergoing immense changes, the Crescent Hotel emerged as a testament to innovation and luxury. Designed by the renowned architect Isaac L. Taylor, this architectural gem was unlike anything seen in Eureka Springs or the region. Eureka Springs, at the time, was at the pinnacle of its popularity, drawing visitors from far and wide, all seeking the healing powers of the Ozarks' famed healing waters. To bring Taylor's vision to life, the Eureka Springs Improvement Company and the Frisco Railroad collaborated, bringing in skilled stonemasons from Ireland. It is during this time, when the first known death in the hotel occurred. A young Irish man, known as Michael, was working on the third floor, when he leaned out of the window of what is now room 218, to flirt with a young lady walking by. Michael leaned too far out and fell 3 stories down onto a pile of rocks, killing him instantly. It was no easy task working with the dense magnesium limestone. Specially crafted wagons were used to transport these massive stone blocks from the White River Quarry. As construction progressed, the Crescent Hotel saw the inclusion of modern amenities such as electrical lights, plumbing, steam heating, and even an elevator. On May 20, 1886, this architectural marvel opened its doors in grand style. The local Eureka Springs Times-Echo called it America's most luxurious resort hotel. Notable figures from across the nation attended the grand opening, enjoying a gala ball and a banquet dinner for 400 celebrants, offering large airy rooms with exquisite furnishings, a dining room that could seat over 500 people, and a host of outdoor amenities. Immediately, the well-to-do of the nation began to flock to the luxurious resort hotel. Liveried footmen met them at the Frisco depot before transporting them to the inn. Once there, guests could enjoy the healing waters of the spa, a stable of 100 sleek-coated horses, tea dances in the afternoon, and elaborate parties every evening with a full in-house orchestra. These early days were marked by grandeur and opulence, as guests reveled in a world of luxury that was unmatched at the time. This is the history of the Crescent Hotel, a place where lavish living met the natural beauty of the Ozarks.
I'm wondering because the Crescent has kind of a twin sister or a real close sister just down the hill from her, which would be the Basin Park Hotel, and you don't hear as many spooky tales. I've heard people say that it's haunted too, but I've never heard it talked about like the Crescent is. Crescent's been on a lot of television shows and
ghost
hunters, a lot of investigations. Yeah, a lot of investigations have happened up there. But that's. Have you been there? I've been there. I've never spent the night, but
I have been there, and I have spent 2 nights there.
Okay, I just went and ate pizza, and it was very spooky, but delicious pizza. So.
I think it's the Sky Bar. I think on the
Yeah, I
third, fourth
think I don't know
floor.
if that's still the name. I think it's third floor, but I'm not 100%. It's the only pizza joint in the Crescent, and they've got a pretty cool balcony. It overlooks that whole Eureka Springs Valley
Don't get
down
too
there.
close to the balcony.
But don't get too close to the balcony because there's been a lot of people fall to their death
Mysteriously
mysteriously.
fall to their death.
So are they just careless and get too close to the edge, or is something pushing them?
Good question. So it was built in 1886, and supposedly they had a lot of Irish fellas come over and do all the stone masonry work. And one of the first known deaths was a guy by the name of Michael. He was one of the fellows from Ireland. And a young lady was walking on the
Michael.
outside, and Michael, I guess he liked to flirt with the ladies. He was sitting in a window. I think it was room 212 or 218. Got a little too close to the ledge, and Michael came falling down and crashed into a big pile of rocks. And that was the end of Michael.
He became a haint. I shouldn't laugh at Michael, but
It's
but it
218,
is,
room 218 is the one he fell out of. And supposedly that's the most.
Did you stay in 218 when you were there?
No, I forgot what room I stayed in. But I'll tell you my story. So my wife, she kept wanting to go to Eureka. Let's go to Eureka. Let's go to Eureka. So I'll fix her. I'll book us a couple nights at the Crescent, and she'll not ever want to go back to Eureka. So we go, and I tell her the story of, she wasn't really aware that it was the most haunted hotel in America. So I'm pumping her up and filling her all the stuff, and I start busting out YouTube and showing all these videos from these TV shows, and then it kind of backfired on me because I ended up getting the spooks more than she did, and I didn't sleep very much. But we didn't see anything. There's some like little window units because it's obviously an old building, so the air conditioner is a small window unit. And there were some birds. I think it was birds making a nest up in there. Hope it was birds. That's about the only thing I remember. I was looking at some pictures earlier before we recorded of our trip, and I think it's just lighting. But some people claim that there's like footprints that glow, and I didn't know it at the time, but looking through the pictures, I saw a few behind me, and I'm going to say it's the lighting and not a ghost, but who knows?
Maybe. I've seen some of the pictures that I've seen, and maybe you can find them and put them up when we broadcast this. But there's a couple that people have taken, like there was some during some of the tours in the hallways, and you can see like kind of a ghostly woman peeking around the corner, kind of creepy, unexplainable. There again, cameras grab light different ways. I'm gonna go out there and say that I'm a believer in supernatural. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know 100%, but there's something out there. There's energy. I've had experiences myself with different things that we could go into. We probably did in another podcast that we were involved with. I think we talked about some of that stuff. But I've had a lot of unexplained things happen. I've heard a lot of sounds and felt things touch me, and it wasn't a friend that was with me either. I was by myself. So, but I don't know. It's hard to explain what some of that stuff is. When the person dies, the energy, if it doesn't go straight to heaven or hell, something's got to float around somewhere. If it's not their soul and it's just energy, I mean, we're right now taking pictures of ourselves, and the energy's staying out there, and people are watching it over and over. So I don't know. Is this a ghostly podcast today? Who knows?
This episode is.
Yeah, it's about spooks. So I don't know. It's very interesting. I didn't see anything when I was there except for very delicious pizza. I did kind of take some pictures in the hallway because you never know what's going to pop up on those pictures. But we didn't have any experiences when we were over there. But I've talked to people who have. When
we ate there, I was talking to the waiter, and I would talk to the staff a little bit. So I asked our waiter, I was like, have you ever saw anything here? And he swore there was one night that he was in the Sky Bar or the pizza place, whatever, and he sees a guy on the ledge, and all of a sudden he just falls off. And so he goes to security. He's like, I swear I saw somebody fall off. So they pull tapes, nothing. Nothing. And we have a mutual friend, and I didn't ask her if I'm going to use this picture, but I'm going to anyway. She had a friend send to her. They were walking in the hall and kind of did a selfie. And then when they looked at it, there was clearly a figure down the hall behind them that wasn't there.
That may be the picture, one of the pictures I'm talking about, because I've seen several of them over the years, but there was somebody that I saw a picture recently within the year. It was like that. It was like a selfie, and there was somebody behind them that wasn't in the hallway when they took the picture. So who knows? Now,
before we get into the Crescent here, I've heard rumor. We're in Marion County. I've heard rumor of at least 2 possible government buildings within the county that are supposedly haunted.
I've been in one. Well, I've been in 2 of them that I would venture to say yes they are. I'm not going to disclose where those are right now, just so we don't have people just think they're going to go there when they're not supposed to. But yeah, I've been with some people and heard some things and seen some things that can't really be explained. So, and I've heard a lot of other stories and seen pictures and recordings and things like that. So, I don't know. That stuff it's really interesting to me. I really don't want to go out and be a ghost hunter, because I really don't want to bring that stuff home with me.
That's
how you keep that from happening. So, it's interesting, it's intriguing, but at the same time, I'm just a big enough chicken that I know that, or I believe that some of that stuff is just not meant to be messed with.
I'm with you. I don't want to go looking or hunting or provoking any of that stuff, because, like you said, I don't want to bring it home with me. But I will say, I
don't really want to have the conversation.
Why is it though? Ghosts are always seen in dark, gloomy, spooky places. I mean, you never hear about, I saw a ghost on the beach last summer. They're never in happy places. Like I saw one.
Well, maybe those happy ones move on. They go to the light. Maybe it's the ones that are just hanging out. And and I've heard people talk about residual haunts, which would not be necessarily a spirit, but they're again like an energy, like a recording. They hear the same footsteps about the same time, whether it's daytime or nighttime. They'll see an image of a person, or they'll hear a sound that happens over and over, but it's not like communicating with anybody. It's just, you think about what this place was. It was a hotel, obviously. It was a school, correct?
Yep.
For a while. It was like it was a hospital, right? A cancer.
Sort of. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. Well, yeah.
So but my point is, without going too deep into that right now, I think anytime you've got an institution like that, and you've got a lot of emotion, you've got a lot of people. Jails are a good place, that you when they're abandoned, it seems like there's always some kind of energy going on there. But you think about all the turmoil and the sadness and the anger that, where does that energy go? They say the energy never goes away. It just changes form somehow. And I'm not just necessarily talking about ghosts. I'm just talking about energy in general. So where does that go? And are you just seeing a recording or hearing a recording of the past? But there again, I've heard about intelligent stuff. So,
I don't know. I just don't like, if any ghost is listening to us right now, I'm not trying to mess with you, so don't come looking for me, I promise. So we talked about Michael falling from room 218. That room is supposedly the most active of any room there. He likes to mess with girls. Not
he did. That's what caused me to die, right? And so he just keeps on.
So he likes to kind of aggravate the girls, not in a mean or horrible way, but he'll, supposedly do things when there's women in there. Shortly after it opened, a 6-year-old girl fell from the staircase, from the top of the staircase all the way to the bottom, and died. So that's 2 people that fell and died.
Are those for sures, or are those just legends?
Back to the Michael thing's pretty well documented. He wasn't from here. He didn't have family from here. So from what I've read, they just
here's where the problem comes. Here's where the problem comes.
Took
people
him into the woods on the property and buried him
in a pauper's grave and unmarked. Right?
Yeah. There's been things found.
It's not a good thing. If you're gonna bury somebody, give them a marker. Give them a funeral. Don't just go hide their body out in the woods. They'll come back and haunt your hotel.
Then in 1908, it turned into the Crescent College of Conservatory for Young Women.
Shortly after the resort opened to guests, a young girl said to be 5 or 6 years old, stumbled over the staircase, and fell to her death from the 4th floor down to the basement below. In 1908, a new chapter in the history of the Crescent Hotel began. The majestic building was transformed into the Crescent College and Conservatory for Young Women. During this time, it is said that the dean's young son became ill and died. This transformation saw the Crescent embracing education, training, and intellectual pursuits. It became a place where the minds of fine young ladies were nurtured. As one of the most exclusive boarding academies in Arkansas, the Crescent College and Conservatory played a pivotal role in the community. The young women who passed through its doors received not only education but also a chance to thrive in an environment that fostered knowledge and ambition. Tragically, a love-struck and pregnant student was either pushed or jumped to her death from the 4th floor balcony. From 1908 to 1924, the institution served as a hub of learning, where bright young minds flourished, and many stories of achievement were written. However, as the years passed, the economic challenges brought on by the Great Depression took their toll. By 1934, the revenues from tuition and summer guests were no longer sufficient to sustain the costs of running the grand building. After standing abandoned for 6 years, the Crescent College reopened briefly as a junior college from 1930 to 1934. This transition aimed to keep the educational flame alive during a challenging period. The college's noble journey came to an end, but the Crescent continued to welcome guests as a summer hotel during the off-season.
In 08?
1908.
So was it it was actually a hotel first, right?
Yeah, for its time, it was just a remarkable, huge resort that nobody had.
Because Eureka Springs was known for its healing waters, and it was a resort spa town. So that's what they built it for originally, right? Yeah. So people could come there and stay and soak in the tubs and lounge around and play croquet and badminton and everything that people do at fancy resorts that they wanted.
When it was a school for women, a pregnant girl fell to her death, and there's a little bit of conspiracy theory about, was it a suicide? It was all girls school. She was pregnant. How did that happen? Did she kill herself because of that?
Catch me offline and I'll explain that to you.
Did a certain professor there push her to not get in trouble? Was it just an accident? Was it a murder? Who knows what? So this is 3 people that have fell.
No, that would be 4.
Four if you count the baby.
Count the baby.
It briefly closed during the Great Depression in 1934. And then 3 years later, this is where it gets even more spookier. A fellow by the name of Norman Baker bought it.
The year was 1937, and a dark cloud descended upon the Crescent Hotel as it welcomed a new owner, Norman G. Baker. Baker, a millionaire inventor and radio personality, styled himself as a doctor, despite having no medical training. He made audacious claims of miraculous cures for various ailments, including cancer. His advertisements attacked organized medicine, accusing it of being corrupt and profit-driven. He promised treatments that required neither surgery nor painful tests. The Crescent Hotel was rebranded as Baker's Cancer Curing Hospital. Desperate patients flocked to this place in search of hope. Baker's so-called cure primarily involved drinking the area's natural spring water and administering an elixir that was more alcohol and watermelon seeds than a legitimate treatment. He lived a life of conspicuous wealth, driving lavish cars and flaunting extravagant suits. Baker epitomized the dark side of American excess. While Baker reveled in his schemes, federal authorities were closing in on him. In 1940, he was arrested for mail fraud. The investigation revealed that Baker had defrauded cancer patients out of approximately $4 million. Although no one died directly from his cure, it was clear that patients suffered and died because effective treatments were denied to them. Baker had a morgue and autopsy table in the bottom of the Crescent, where he performed various procedures and experiments on the dead. Baker was convicted and sentenced to 4 years in Leavenworth Federal Prison, his nefarious empire dismantled. In the wake of this dark era, the Crescent Hotel had to grapple with the tainted legacy left by the charlatan who had once called it home.
That's real close to Norman Bates.
Yeah. And there should be a movie about this guy. I mean, he started a cancer curing hospital. He went by Dr. Norman Baker. The problem was he wasn't a doctor. He was nothing. He was a millionaire from before he bought this, so he had plenty of money. He had a full nursing staff. He had rooms. He had a morgue and an autopsy table in the basement, which you can see today. It's still there. You can go do the haunted ghost tour and go see that. I'm not going to, but you guys are welcome to.
Yeah, I don't know why I'd want to go see an autopsy table in the bottom of the Crescent Hotel.
He claimed he could cure cancer without any medical training. In 1940, he
killed people.
Well, yeah. In 1940, he finally got federally charged and convicted for mail fraud. Basically, what he was doing was these patients
This dude's a fake doctor, and he gets in trouble for mail fraud.
Well, here's how he got in trouble for mail fraud. These patients were coming from all over the country, and their families was writing them postcards and sending money to keep them there when likely they were already dead. He just kept taking money from the families. Like, I'm talking millions of dollars. That's a lot of money in 1937.
Yeah. Somebody had him a good little side hustle going on there.
And ironically, Mr. Baker died of cancer.
Dun, dun, dun. I think that's called poetic justice, is what that's called. Did he go to jail?
Yeah, he didn't do much time. He got out of jail. Like I said, he was a millionaire. I think he went to Florida. That's where he ended up spending the rest of his life down there before he died. But
so he didn't die. He didn't die at the Crescent.
No.
Okay.
But this guy, some real spooky stuff. He had his own potions and specimens, and he would do, experiments on people. Especially all he was doing was just playing a mad scientist with people.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Let's talk about some of the ghosts.
The Crescent Hotel, a place of history and hauntings, has borne witness to countless stories of the paranormal. The journey into its ghostly past begins with the construction. In 1885, an Irish stonemason named Michael met a tragic end when he lost his balance and fell to his death. People still claim to see his ghost in room 218, the most haunted room in the hotel. Those stonemasons from Ireland, with their 18-inch walls and overhanging balconies, laid the foundations for more than just a hotel. They laid the groundwork for eerie legends. As night falls, the spirits come alive. Michael, the playful ghost in room 218, is known to be more active towards females, tamper with lights, doors, and TVs. Guests have seen hands in mirrors and heard the sounds of a man falling from the ceiling. Not far from room 218, the spirit of Theodora lingers. An older woman, possibly a former nurse, she organizes things and doesn't tolerate arguments. Room 419 holds her memory. The third floor hides the ghosts of Dr. Baker's patients. A nurse in white has been seen pushing a gurney, reminding all who encounter her of the pain and suffering of the past. And don't forget, this very place served as the morgue for Baker's patients. In the dark corners of the laundry room, washers and dryers have been known to turn on mysteriously. Perhaps those who died here still seek comfort in the mundane. But the ghosts do not rest. They manifest in countless forms, malevolent, mischievous, and mysterious. The Crystal Dining Room is a hotbed of activity. The spirits of Victorian dancers twirl through the night, and guests have encountered a groom who waits for his bride to return. In the dining room's giant mirror, a Victorian bride and groom once danced. Startled employees found themselves in the midst of an ethereal wedding. A young boy, long gone, plays in the kitchen, and pots and pans take flight of their own accord. Other spirits, like a mysterious gentleman in a top hat and mustache, have been spotted at the bar or on the stairway. And then there's the Crescent College and Conservatory for Young Women, where young lives were cut short, leaving their restless spirits to roam the halls. As guests and employees share their experiences, we're reminded that the Crescent Hotel isn't just a place, it's a tapestry of spectral tales.
We got Michael, red-haired Irish boy from room 218. Again, supposedly buried somewhere on the property. He likes to play playful tricks and mess with the lights and the doors. There's also a nurse by the name of Theodora. I don't know how Nurse Theodora died, but she's supposedly in room 419, and she doesn't like when couples argue, and if you leave, you come back, she's like straighten your stuff up. Like if it's all messy, she'll like fold it, put it all nice and neat. So she's got OCD or something. That's nice.
He might be one of those ones to have around.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind having that ghost.
If she would just leave you alone. Besides that, hey, we're going to go on a trip. Let's just throw all of our crap in the room here, and she'll pack it for us. Make sure my socks match, Theodora.
She likes to tidy things up, and she doesn't like it when the guests in the room argue.
So what does she do if they argue? Does she do anything malicious, or is it just always...
She may throw something across the room. I'm not sure what she does. Reports of a ghost nurse with a gurney on the third floor. I'm pretty sure I stayed on the third floor. Third or fourth. I can't remember.
It seemed like I'm just grasping here because I can't remember. It's been several years since we were up there. But it seems like somebody was saying something about seeing a nurse walking around where that restaurant was at night.
There's been things heard and seen in the laundry room, people dancing in the ballroom, in the dining room, a bride and groom, sightings in room 202, 424. There's been a waiter, and then something about a lady in the mist. I guess she's outside.
That's out in the yard, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, I've heard about that one.
All kinds of haints and spooks here.
Matter of fact, I think when I was watching one of those ghost investigation television shows, it seemed like I remember them talking about the lady in the mist out in the yard because they were trying to capture some of that or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a beautiful place though, and
it's real pretty.
I love old buildings. I love old architecture. The ghost stuff always intrigues me, but like I said, I don't necessarily want to bring it home with me or live with that stuff all the time. Yeah, creepy stuff. So it was the hospital then. It was a school. It was hotel, school.
Then it turned into like a junior college. After the girls' school, it turned into like a junior college. And what they would do in the winter months and fall, they would have the college, and in the spring and summer, they would reopen the hotel and kind of trade off. So that's why something
during the touristy times.
But most recently in 1997, Marty and Elise Rennick purchased it for $1.3 million.
Today, the Crescent Hotel stands as a testament to time, history, and the enduring legacy of Eureka Springs. In 1997, the Crescent Hotel found saviors in Marty and Elise Rennick. They breathed new life into this grand lady of the Ozarks, pledging to restore it to its former glory. The Roenigs invested over $5 million, meticulously restoring the hotel's features. From the majestic penthouse to the crescent moon weather vane, no detail was overlooked. Today, the 1886 Crescent Hotel and Spa, listed on the National Register of Historic Places, offers a luxurious experience that seamlessly blends history with modern comforts. With 72 guest rooms, many boasting balconies, and 12 luxury suites, the hotel welcomes visitors to enjoy its storied past in style. The New Moon Spa beckons with treatments and wellness programs. Surrounded by 15 acres of formal gardens and nature trails, the Crescent Hotel is not just a destination, it's an experience that transcends time. But, As with any place that holds a rich history, the Crescent Hotel continues to experience its share of tragedies. In 2017, a guest accidentally fell from a balcony which sadly took his life, reminding us that life's fragility is an enduring theme, even in this storied location. In the spring of 2019, a landscaper found an old mysterious bottle. This led to over 500 glass bottles and various human remains being unearthed in the backyard of the Crescent Hotel. They appear to date from 1938-40, when the building served as Baker Hospital and Health Resort. And yet, despite the somber moments, the Crescent Hotel beckons. It's not just a haven for history and luxury, it's a place of mystery, a realm of restless spirits. Visitors, drawn by the hotel's elegance and enigmatic aura, seek to experience its haunted legacy. Whispers of apparitions, the echoes of history, and the timeless charm of the Crescent await all who dare to explore. We invite you to be part of this timeless narrative, to walk its hallowed halls, to listen for the whispers of the past, and to uncover the mysteries that reside within. Whether you visit to meet the spirits, luxuriate in its elegance, or uncover the history, the Crescent Hotel awaits. Share your experiences, seek out the stories, and discover the undeniable allure of this enchanting piece of history.
Took them about 6 years to restore it. They renamed it the 1886 Crescent Hotel and Spa. 2009, they were involved in a car wreck, and Mr. Rennick got killed, and to my knowledge, Elise still owns it, and she also owns the Basin.
Both actually played music at the Basin Park Hotel up on there's a balcony up there that overlooks the street down there. Years ago, I went up there, my friend Ron Landis, who's a artist and engraver who lives up there in Eureka, just not too far from the Crescent. I sat in with his band up there one time. I think they were shorthanded or something. Anyway, but got a chance to walk through, and there's a real nice ballroom up there, and there's a lot of similarities, but they're two totally different buildings, and just cool. I love walking through that town and just looking at all the old buildings, and very rarely do you see that many Victorian buildings in one place in that good a shape. It's a very unique town.
It's a unique town. It's a unique building. When you go, if you go, it's just eerie. It's just because it's they've kept it pretty much as closely original as you can get. I mean, the rooms are small.
Yeah, when you walk
and
into
awkward.
it, you walk into it, and it's it doesn't. I mean, it obviously doesn't feel brand new. It feels well taken care of, but lived in. It just seems like it's been going since it was open. I mean, it's just it's got a, I don't want to say, I hate to say creepy because but yeah, it's got kind of a feel like something's watching you all the time.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just me, I don't know.
Little closer to now, in June of 2017, a man from Missouri also fell down the staircase and he died. So I don't know if he's yeah.
They need to have like crash helmets and
That's
neck
what
braces.
I said earlier. Don't get too close to the balcony.
Yeah, or the stairs. Obviously, it seemed like just as many people have died on the staircases. What they, that's which I guess you can fall down the stairs anywhere.
Yeah, but how many people fall down the stairs and die? I've listed like 6 people here.
I don't know.
2019, a landscaper that works there found an unusual jar, which led to the discovery of over 500 bottles buried there. I wonder what else is buried there. Links back to the old doctor, and they found all kinds of specimens and potions and things that.
Is there any documentation of how many people died when it was the hospital, when he was doing all these experiments, when there was obviously a morgue and an autopsy table, or at least a mortician's table? I don't know if it's
there might be. I didn't come across the number when I was going through this stuff, but surely there is somewhere. I mean,
so then the next question is, did they send these bodies back home, or did they cremate them there or bury them there? Or
about 3 or 4 years ago, when they made this discovery, they also found human remains and a bone saw. And I don't know what happened to a lot of those folks, but if Michael is buried there and all these potions and specimens and things are buried there and human remains, who knows what else is out there.
Hmm. Yeah. So okay, so we got to the hospital. It was vacant for a while. Uh, it was open back up to, so since it was open back up as a hotel, that's what it's been since. Hotel and
Yes.
spa, correct?
Yep. Since '97.
And with this disclaimer right now, this is a lovely, lovely place, and I'm sure it's a nice place to stay. Like I said, I've never stayed there. We went there to eat before. You've stayed there. It's well taken care of. It feels like a big old Victorian hotel. It looks like you could probably do a remake of The Shining or something like that and have it in. I'm surprised there's not been some kind of spooky movie filmed there about there. I mean, that whole town. That would be such a great.
Even with the doctor, that's a whole movie himself. But just the whole story of the Crescent would be an amazing horror movie.
Yeah.
I got an odd question. What's the scariest part of a room? If you were to go into one of these rooms, which part of a room, not the whole thing, just a room, would give you the willies? Closet, bathroom, just the bed, whatever.
I think to me it's always what's on the other side of the door. Whether it's a closet or a bathroom and you're in the main room, it's what's in the corner behind the door, the last thing I want to happen when I'm in a old building like that is for the door to start opening or closing, or that's the creepiest thing to me. I was in a house one time with some people who were seeking ghosts, and I was standing by a cabinet and the door come open. Now
that's what I'd have left.
I'm kind of like I said, I believe there's something there, but there's enough skeptic in me that I know that there's a lot of things happen, and when you let your imagination go, your mind can make you hear and see all kinds of things. And so this, I'm sitting there thinking, well, maybe I moved. It's an older house. Maybe the floor moved a little bit, and that caused the cabinet. And no, it didn't. I mean, I tried everything I could to get that cabinet door to move, and it was dead level. Pardon the pun, dead level. But yeah, I was after I got out of that house, I was about ready. I heard and felt and saw way too many things. It just made me uncomfortable, and I'm just not into taunting things, So
no. I haven't really had any experiences with haints. Don't want to, but I've talked to a lot of people that have. They've seen things, heard things, felt things.
Some people are more sensitive to it than others, and and I don't know. I think sometimes if your mind's on it, you'll hear and see things that you might not otherwise if you're not thinking about it. But I don't know. Like I said, I've been in a lot of old houses and had a lot of little, just nothing major. I mean, I've never seen like the ghost with all the flowing, silky gown flying behind it, screaming like a banshee or whatever. But it's just always been like, feel like somebody touched you on the shoulder, or I've had my covers tugged in the middle of the night. Never had them like jerked off me, but I was laying in a bed in an ancestor's cabin, and laying there in the middle of the night, and I felt something tug on my covers. There's just me and Mark. Mark was staying there with me, and he was across the room on a cot, and I was on the other side of the cabin in a cot. But one night I felt somebody walked by my bed. The old floors, how they move, and I could hear them creak. And I thought it was him. I thought he got up to go to the bathroom. He's laying there sound asleep. I don't know. Did I roll over and make the floor move and I was just feeling the residual effects of that? I don't know. But it just sometimes those things seem a little bit more than just coincidence. And I don't know. There's part of me that doesn't like that. And there's part of that little kid in me likes that. It's like Bigfoot and ghosts and anything that's spooky like that. You really don't want to see it, but in the back of your mind, you kind of like it being out there because it's just kind of exciting. I think it's walking through the woods in the middle of the night. Is there a bear out there that's going to eat you, or a big wampus cat? Is there a spook that's going to come flying out of the woods? I don't know. Bigfoot, is he going to step out? And I don't really want it to happen, but it's kind of exciting thinking about it. Maybe it could be out there. That's the whole appeal of Halloween, I think. This
I'll
time
pass.
of year.
I'll pass on all that stuff. Anyway, go check the place out. It's a beautiful place. Go. Don't let it. Well, I'm not going to say don't let it scare you into not staying, but
let it scare you, but have fun with it. It's
just stay away from the ledges and the staircase.
Hold on to the handrails.
Yeah.
When you're walking up and down the stairs.
I would say use the elevator, but
go get you some good pizza. And I think they've got like they used to have a beauty salon in there. I think they've got like a masseuse. Yeah, I think you can go get a massage. Anyway, it's a beautiful, beautiful location. Sits on top of the mountain there. It overlooks. It's an awesome town, and it's an awesome place to visit, and it's a good spooky place to visit. Go do the ghost tour. Go spend some money up there. People need your business to help keep those things alive and kicking.
Yeah, or dead.
Go see a haint. Find us.
That's right. All right, guys. Remember to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, iTunes, all those places you get your podcast. Anyway, that's about it.
That's all I got. Boom.
All right. See you guys next time.
Thank you to everyone who has tuned in to this episode of the 1836 podcast. We hope you found it informative and engaging. Please like, share, rate, and review. Leaving a good rating and review on your preferred podcast platform would also help us reach a wider audience. Be sure to tune in next time for another episode, as we continue to explore and uncover the roots and branches of Arkansas and the fascinating history of the Ozarks.